Welcome to Flash Globe.
Luigi Mangione has pleaded guilty to federal charges connected to the killing of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson. But this plea does not necessarily end the case. In fact, it could trigger a major legal battle over whether New York state prosecutors can still take him to trial. Mangione appeared in a Manhattan federal courtroom and admitted guilt to 2 charges of stalking resulting in death. These charges are connected to allegations that he followed Thompson across state lines before Thompson was shot and killed on a Manhattan street in December 2024. The federal charges carry a possible sentence of life in prison without parole. During the hearing, the judge reportedly confirmed that Mangione understood he could spend the rest of his life behind bars. His federal sentencing is currently scheduled for December 18. But here is where the case becomes much more complicated. Mangione is also facing 8 separate charges in New York State Court, including second-degree murder and weapons-related offenses. His state trial is expected to begin in September, just weeks after his federal guilty plea. Immediately after the plea, Mangione's attorneys argued that continuing the state murder case could violate double jeopardy protections. In simple terms, the defense is claiming that because the federal charges involve the same death, prosecutors should not be allowed to prosecute him again in state court. That argument is not automatically guaranteed to succeed. Federal and state governments are separate legal authorities, and courts will have to examine whether the charges and prosecutions are legally considered the same offense. The state prosecutors are expected to fight the defense motion, meaning the next major battle may happen not in front of a jury, but inside the courtroom over constitutional law. If the state case is allowed to continue, Mangione could still face a separate trial in New York. Prosecutors would have to prove the state murder charge beyond a reasonable doubt, even though he has already admitted guilt to the federal stalking charges. For Mangione, the guilty plea may remove the uncertainty of a federal trial, but it also leaves the possibility of 2 separate legal consequences. The federal judge will decide his sentence later this year, while a state court must first determine whether the murder case can move forward. The case has drawn intense public attention because it sits at the intersection of a high-profile killing, public anger toward the American healthcare system, and a complicated battle between federal and state prosecutors. But legally, the central question now is straightforward. Does the federal guilty plea close the door on the state murder prosecution, or can both cases continue independently? That answer could shape what happens next for Luigi Mangione, and determine whether his next courtroom appearance is for sentencing, a state trial, or another major legal hearing. For more updates on this developing case and other major news stories, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update.